No one here really needs an intro anyways, you know? This is for the Monad community, by the Monad community, the marketing cabal. It's definitely a treat to have all 6 of us in one spot here.
Yeah, dude, led by the purest Monad community story arc to ever come out. Right, Danny just purely winning the first meme competition ever in the lock telegram, and then snagging Armani, throwing an awesome Twitter space, and we're like, this talent cannot go to waste. So now hosting the crew.
It's been
I mean, don't let your memes be dreams, you know?
True.
Make it happen.
I mean, it's been a wild ride. It's hard to believe that it was a year ago now when I first hopped in the Monad Discord, and you know, already a lot of you guys were already in there, and the vibes from day one were just infectious. And where in the world is that echo coming from? Oh, that's.
I think now it's fixed.
I think that's from the accounting department.
Tunes from accounting took his headphones off, and the echo, but now it's fixed.
We gotta get him like the classic ones that have the little mic that comes out front, like the really skinny headphones, big mic.
Tech support core.
One thing I wanted to do is just shouting out like random, or not random, but just like community members, like some of the top contributors, because I feel like no one is more in touch with everyone than like the group of 6 on here. I'm going to take the easy layup and just say Skilly is a god, right? And honestly created a movement with a lot of his art. I don't think we have to spend too much time so we can pass it off of that, but always comes to mind when you think of like the best artists.
But he's so impressive as well, because you'll just be riffing with everyone, and then all of a sudden it will just be like, he comes out of nowhere after like 15 minutes and just like tags someone. He's like, I made you a PFP. And it's just the most insane PFP with a reference that no one really like gets, but it's just like, of course, that makes so much sense. Like that is his new PFP, and they wear it for life too. It's awesome.
The turnaround time for a good meme is just so underrated. Like the fact that you can be on the landline in the Discord, or the lamb line now, I guess I should say, and like Port will just say some random thing about like Turkey, and then 3 minutes later Ray J's dropping an AI video in the general chat, and it's just Port's voice, or like a new bit added to the soundbar. It just makes like engaging and staying active just so much more fun, because you never know what's coming next.
Yeah, I feel like Internbrah's got a shout out for like Tokes and Turbo coming up here.
Yeah, I mean, I'll shout them out as the OG boys, day one. And then, of course, the artists can't leave out Rachel, Mario, and Saddam, cooking all day, every day. Gotta give one to Ray J. I'm honestly doing a lot of this for you, sir. I hope you can make me say some crazy things. I'll already say I have shrimp in my shoes, so you gotta come up with something even crazier than that. But go crazy with the face talk, sir.
I feel like Dubs has like 8,000 people from the Telegram.
He just names the whole Telegram off one by one from memory.
Yeah, my mind is working hard right now, but there's been like so many people that I've chatted with, like everyone from like White Sox, Bachbar, Aiden, Hottie Fob, Dark Shade, Young J, Cal. I mean, like ID Kravitz, Shave the Whale, Harry. I mean, I feel like I could just go off Zane, Port. I mean, XL1 Tech, Cratchy Bug. It's good. I mean, there's like, what's cool about our community is there's so many people with, like, it's all over the world, and there's so many people with so many different backgrounds and a lot of different talents that I think really helps the content being created, and it really just allows things to be cranked out really quick. So you have so many different skill sets and personalities from talented people that are all just like blended in different places in the Monad community. So it's pretty special.
John, shout out! You got to shout out Berzan too. He overtook you in rep today. Did you notice that one?
I know. Berzan, hear me very clearly, okay? This is not over, all right? I saw that happen. I'm going to be speaking to Rose about it. I'm going to give her a stern talking to after this is over. I did see that, and it's just know it's going to be handled, all right? It's going to be handled. That's what I'll say. That's my official statement.
Sore spot then. All right.
to that got to get thrown into Savant, right? Just like the clips that have come out of that, super high quality, has like the subtitles through it, crazy good. And then King Louis stepping up to like honestly going God mode for the last probably a
I
month or
swear,
two.
dude, Louis just like spawns in every group chat I'm in.
Spawns.
And somehow it takes the reins. It's crazy.
Mhm.
I got added to some Nad Lads Twitter DM today, and Louis is just in that running show. Like, I did not expect to see that
That's why
guy.
they call him the king.
People are just like, yeah,
Mm.
people are like scared of him now too in a good way because like he's helping like run the purge and the purgatory, and it's just like this man just has such a handle on everything in there, and so it's pretty sick to see him go. And there's a lot of lore being created around King Louis. Like people are making Purge Day memes for him, so it's like his character, his lore just was like so perfect already being King Louis. So it's pretty special to kind of see him really escalate like that.
Yeah, I feel like the next step, which is already starting to happen, but I think is going to accelerate like crazy. Like there's so many projects building on Monad that are looking to hire community and marketing people. And usually it's super hard to source really good people. This is like there's way too many incredibly talented people that like have like months of work to show for what they're doing. They already fully understand like plugging in this dApps community to the Monad side. So I would
Sometimes
be very surprised if this doesn't just become like a well of talent that like everyone is getting hired just from like being part of the Monad community.
Sometimes they don't even believe you when you reach out and you're like, hey, there's a team looking for a meme maker and a community person. And they're like, what do you mean? like, I get paid to do that? And it's like, yeah, you do.
I mean,
Yeah, I feel like there's. Oh yeah, go for
I
it.
was
Danny.
going to kind of switch it up, so I'll let you kind of hit on that.
Yeah, one more thing. There's just so many talented people in the community, and also I feel like it's just a net positive if you're like an ecosystem project to bring someone from the Monad community to your project because they already have the best understanding of the lore. They have the best understanding of the past, year and a half, even longer of history in the community, and that right there carries a lot of value.
Yeah,
Yeah. Can I get my shout outs? Everyone got their shout outs.
Come
I
on,
didn't get
Tunes.
to do any shout outs.
Have your phone, Nunez.
First, I want to shout out Naive for the sick videos. Shout out Naive. I want to shout out Tequila because Tequila made the coolest photo ever of
My favorite.
all of us and put Intern as just like a dead penguin on the table, which I thought was the funniest thing ever.
Murdered on the table.
Shout out Purgatory. Some lesser known faces, but future top nads. We got Jungie. We gotta show love to the ship posters too, not just the artists. They matter. They matter too. We got Googly, Jungie. We got Lion, Juan. We got lots of nads. There's so many nads. There's actually there's too many nads. I think we gotta like reverse the strategy and just kind of start going less nads and just maybe let the nads spread their wings and find some new harvests.
I mean, that's been evident over the last couple of days with nads follow nads. My Twitter is gone. My Twitter is unusable.
Gone. Notifications wrecked.
Yeah, my favorite thing is when you get tagged in a tweet with a piece of art and then they've just tagged like every single one of us, and then it happens every 10 minutes. It's so great. I love it so much.
Yeah,
Dude,
it's
how
honestly, it's a great engagement hack. I think it's underrated. But if you just spam tag every single person you follow in your tweet, they're guaranteed to see it and engage.
Let's not
Never
encourage
fails.
this. Let's not encourage this. We will see everything. Do not tag us.
Yeah, honestly, if you
Keone-
tag me, I just mute the thread immediately.
Keone put out that tweet that was like, pro tip: if you
Yeah.
tag too many accounts, it's gonna hurt you in the algo. Please stop tagging. I can't
That's
use Twitter
actually-
anymore.
I think that's actually somewhat true, though, because and again, why this is just a terrible time to be encouraging people to tag everyone. But I've spent the last week talking with the pipeline interns, encouraging them not to tag a bunch of accounts on all their tweets. And so far, it seems like the consensus is engagement is generally up when you don't do that, which I think makes sense, right? Because it's just not as busy when you look at a tweet. It's like, okay, well, I don't need to see all these tags. I can just see whatever the art is, whatever the tweet's actually about. But if we're going this way again, might as well be sure to tag me at least. But I have notifications on, and I can't even see. I keep missing when the Monad main account tweets because it's just buried under 60,000 notifications.
You can't see it. And I would actually say like sleeper, but shout out, I would say rookie of April, rookie of the month is Thread Guy, who has become one of the most engaged nads. I was not expecting that, but it's constant, dude. He has like Ansem type tweet velocity, like absolute trigger finger. And the NFT community is super engaged now, which is crazy. So
Yeah,
gotta show love to Thread Guy.
Lots of NFT MFers keep asking for spots in the Purgatory. I think they're about to take over. Kind of bullish on the NFT guys. Should be quite the month.
Couldn't agree more. But I think in general, like the mindset for a lot of community members and protocols that are trying to build up a community is like, okay, we need community as this marketing vehicle to boost awareness around our project so that when we get to mainnet, when we do launch, that there's hype around it. But the thought here with Monad is like, let's just create this super engaged ecosystem with, you know, a multitude of relationships between community members and projects. Obviously, we hope that, you know, a lot of community members get hired natively within the Monad ecosystem. But I think that's definitely one of the points of differentiation for the Monad community. There's a ton of opportunity that I think some people are still sleeping on.
Lots of opportunity for sure. I can speak firsthand on the eco marketing side. Pretty much every single team building on Monad is looking for social media, marketing, community help. And I was given two pieces of advice. One is to hire crypto native, but two is to hire Monad native. So I would say like the teams in the Monad eco that have shown the best success so far have definitely been the ones that have tapped into our community the hardest and kind of just embraced our culture. And even in some cases actually hired some of those people just straight from the community, which is, I don't know, it's honestly kind of beautiful to think that you can just like join a community in crypto and then just like get legitimate like job opportunities. Like,
and not to put a teaser out there, but like there's something coming up that we'll rally the nads for. And one of the community members, they were like, we need someone from the Monad side that can help run this, right? And like Bill Monday's obviously not for sale, right? But like you need someone that understands, that can help drive a lot of it. So like bang, just like that, in a few days, Monad community member picked off full-time job working in crypto. So yeah, it's truly endless. Like I think that's the meta over the next 3 months, that like that's the next fuel to the fire in the Monad community, is like if you want to work full-time in crypto, joining the Monad community is the easiest way to get recognized and then placed. It's like becoming like an incubator for top talent in the space, which is truly wild. Like it goes way beyond what I think anyone thought that this was going to be.
Yeah. I mean, it's really one of the easiest ways to maximize your luck surface area. Just stay in the Monad community every day, get active.
Proven doomed to success. Okay.
That's a deep cut, Danny.
No, that's a meme that we hit on often on this podcast. Doomed to success. That was a long time ago, but it holds very true. Like we're just here doing what we're doing right now. We're having fun. We're talking about our favorite people in the Monad community, which actually reminds me, I wanted to hear from everyone on this one. So if you had to pick one Monad community member to invite over to dinner with your parents, who would you invite and why? Dude,
Gotta be Port,
that's
right?
mine 100%.
He'd come over, he'd cook a nice lamb, maybe call in some other guys on the lamb line, just talk about a slow roasted, delicious lamb, ideally cooked in some cast iron.
He would show up with a live lamb on a leash and prepare the entire thing. That would just his voice is honestly the number one reason why I'm so desperate to meet him in person. I'm looking forward to meeting a lot of Monad community members in person over the next year or so, as many as possible, but Port definitely stands out as one that you just have to shake his hand in person and say, what's up, man?
I feel like I'm stuck between two here. One of them is Turvo, but since I have already FaceTimed with Turbo before, I'm gonna go with Ray J. I think that, I mean, hopefully an Internbrah would also be at dinner with my parents with Ray J, but I just think that they have this idea of what crypto is in their head, and if Ray J came to dinner, it would be completely validated that this is literally as ridiculous as crypto is, and that is how we're spending our time all day. So I think that would be a very interesting experience.
He'd also bring shrimp in his shoes for dinner.
He would bring shrimp, dude. Shrimp barbecue. We'd have bubblegum shrimp. Could teach him to farm.
I was trying to think of it because there's some real degens out there, like some real informal fellows, to put it nicely. And I was thinking, like, who are the most polite ones? And I'm not going to like blow their cover or anything, but there's some really, really nice people out there who have like sent like incredibly heartfelt notes after like airdrops or getting roles or getting like jobs or anything. And so all of those people are like high up on the list for sure. Like you want someone super polite. But then like entertainment value, definitely probably Port, or maybe one of the riders like East or Happy. I feel like they're really good at explaining like what crypto is, why they do it, what the benefits are for different groups. So that would be a good pick too, I think.
I keep going back and forth here, but there's so many names. My mind is overheating, but I think one name would be Zane, because I feel like that man is so fun to shitpost with, and he just has like, that man has endless amounts of drip, and like his like GM to those who still GM post get endless amounts of engagement. So I think this dude, I think he's just so fun to be around in the community. And I guess another one would be White Sox, because I got to know him, I guess, April, May last year, and he invited me into his, I guess, his own personal alpha chat with a lot of other Korean people. And it's kind of funny because obviously everyone in there is, they're all in Korea and they're all speaking Korean, and I don't know a lick of Korean, but I just go in there with my chat GPT and try and communicate with them, and they're all super nice and fun to be around. So like White Sox and as many of them that are in there that I could go hang out with. Like I know Claire's another prominent one that's in there. That'd be awesome to get dinner with. And the last one would be Nad Masta. He's one, like Nad Masta, I feel like has really come onto the scene over the last like month or two, and I just shitpost endlessly with that man, and he's got a really, really cool personality, and he has a great sense of humor. So I communicate with him in Indonesian sometimes, and I'm not going to say on the podcast the stuff that we say to each other in our private chats, but it's just like, it's just so funny. I feel like I'm talking to one of my own. So it's awesome. And those are some names that come to mind.
Yeah, I'd probably go with King Louis just because he's like, well, he's actually pretty insane, like when you talk to him in private, which is very entertaining. But yeah, I kind of probably to speak to Intern's point, maybe that would just like validate like my parents' like intrusive thoughts about what crypto really is. I would also nominate Bill Mondays. Like he's just such a stand-up guy, so handsome, so just like, his face is going to be blurred out, but if you could look at his face right now, you'd agree with me. It'd be just a great guy to bring home. So
yeah, you can tell me what your parents there, Toads. You can tell me what your parents. I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah.
I'm glad none of us said John W. Rich Kid. Regular Clark cannot.
I mean, my parents don't really want to go to a Wendy's in Gary, Indiana, so.
Yeah, you could go get a Frosty after dinner.
Yeah. Okay, all your parents would be absolutely overjoyed to see you bring home John W. Rich Kid. I put on a great show.
What about John W. Rich Kid's sister? Because she's in the chat.
She's
in the chat. She is.
Yeah, there is John W. Rich Kid's sister. My sister is in the chat, and I will say she talks a lot of stuff about me all the time, saying like, I don't do my chores around the house and I'm really annoying, and I want to set the record straight that she is the most annoying person I've ever met. So, community, just I'm sorry that she's in the chat. I'm sorry she's there. There's not much I can do. It's it's family, so I can't. There's only so much I can do. So I'm sorry if you've ever had an interaction with her.
I feel like John W. Rich Kid's. Yeah, I feel like John W. Rich Kid's sister is like locked away in a castle, and she's like Cinderella, and like someone needs to go like save her.
And John W. Rich Kid's like Shrek and he's just like over it. Like, oh, man. Good question, Danny.
Tricky
Do
one.
we have any other
Yeah,
like
I
teed
mean,
up
I
like that?
have a couple more. We could rewind about a year or so ago because everyone on this call has been in the Monad community for quite a bit now. And, we're talking about all these different verticals that have really spun to life, whether it's Discord or Telegram, and obviously the insane amount of art and content volume across Twitter. But I don't think a lot of people who are in the community now were necessarily there during the early days. So would love to hear, especially from Bill as the cult leader. Have you always wanted to start a cult, and how did you get involved with Monad?
I can't say I have always wanted to start a cult specifically. I mean, looking for funny and like-minded people has always been something I've been interested in, though. From like a one-lane town, so finding it online was always what I had to do. I mean, the early days it was pretty similar, except just way smaller and way more infrequent, like with great content. Now it's every hour, but it used to be once a week you'd get something okay, and it was like, wow, I can't believe they've made something great. Like you'd put it out, you'd post it, it'd be like, amazing, we've done it. But like values and mission was kind of the same since day dot, and again, like we were just coming out of some real choppy waters after that bear market, or during the bear market, and the people that had stuck around were pretty onto it, like relatively high quality people. So, there was some real good chats during the early days. It was just a lot quieter. I mean, Intern was around there as well.
Yeah, dude, there was I think back to like the OG was the invite only Discord. Like most people don't even know that was initially how it started. And then the opening up of the invite only Discord to the open Discord was actually Internbrah's first foray into the Monad community with two college buddies. Basically we're expecting a crazy amount of inflow here.
Someone's coming in. I might have to leave.
Opening up.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically that that sparked it. And yeah, I mean, that was like right around when Tunes and Dubs hopped in, and then the locked Telegram came up like right after the Discord became open. And then Danny was like the first kind of star player in the locked Telegram. So I feel like it really rolled out pretty seamlessly then. And now it's just been like a year straight of just
I think
cooking.
it was a massive advantage that, the community building started definitely in the deep bear, but when there was like a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel, maybe like we at least knew like, okay, we've been in a bear market for quite a while now, and there was nothing exciting going on in the timeline. Like we were just talking about this, like the only thing going on at this time last year was like Telegram bots and hamster racing. So when I came into a community that was brand new, and I was like, wow, these are really good vibes, this is really fun. And just by nature of like getting addicted to coming back to the chats, I started to learn like what Monad is and what the value prop is, and like what the tech side is actually trying to solve here. It was like, boom, this is it. This is something I'm not going to fade any longer. I, want to be immersed in this 24/7.
Dude, yeah. I think about this often. Like, Bill, early Discord days, like 2022, I feel like Barry and Port were just in there. And I'm like, how did they find out what Monad? There was like no Twitter presence, no anything. Like, how do you discover Monad at that point?
I think
I'd only known it from like the venture side.
There was the up only shout out in August, and that was like what grew us from the day dot. Like that was how everyone knew about it. And he had basically, Kobe was just like, oh, Monad, and it sounds like Gonad, and it was like nice. And then everyone was just like, this is my project forever. It's like, cool.
Yeah. Absolutely wild.
I forgot what the question was, but like the early days of the Monad Telegram was like pretty crazy, because I know it was basically open to everyone, like fully public. I think when it first started in December of 2022, all the way through around April, and then I noticed like one day we woke up and we were just like, yeah, let's lock the chat and make it private. And Obviously, gets private, meme competition starts, some more shit posting goes on, and before you know it, there are purges and missions, and fast forward to over 2 million messages now in that chat, most of which are just endless stickers and links spammed. But here we are today. So I feel like that Telegram is like, there's a good core group of people who've been in there, who've survived all of like the 47 purges that have taken place over the last year. So it's a pretty that aligned with Discord as well. There's so many different cool outlets that have a really fun history about how they got started and the people that were there originally.
Yeah, that was super fun early days of the Telegram. It's kind of crazy.
It's printed out on Tunes' desk.
Yeah, it's crazy.
The day.
I know. I guess Kev gets credit for it, right?
It's a group effort. I don't think anyone takes credit for anything that comes through.
Kev was like, what if we just made a chat that was capped at 1,000 people? And it was just done. It's just crazy to look at how the chat is today. But then it was the way it's become the way it is just this natural reaction to how the chat evolved. We just we're all right, we'll just make a group chat. And then I'm pretty sure the capping at 1,000 chat happened when we were at 800 members or something.
Yeah.
It wasn't we were oh, let's create a chat that's capped at 1,000 people. Or we're okay, let's just create a chat. And then it started blowing up. We're okay, let's cap it. And then we were okay, how do we get people in? I guess we have to kick people out. And then people are getting mad that we're kicking them out. So we have to make it this formal thing. And then we're okay, well, now even that, and here we are. Now we have the chat, we have the purgatory.
I want to give.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I just want to give a special shout out to ID Kravitz, because I don't know if a little bit about Purge history. When the Purge started for the first time, it was kind of just a bi-weekly thing, and it was kind of just John W. Rich Kid kicking out people that I wasn't familiar with, which obviously that was a very archaic system to use for it. And with the help, somehow some crazy super shadowy stuff, he's able to help me get the raw data from the Telegram. So I literally know everything about any member in the community, how many messages sent, when they joined, when their last message was, how many missions they've done, how many stickers they've done. I know everything. It's awesome to have him in the community.
I feel like we'll have to bleep out some of that, because if everyone knows exactly what's going on,
I was just going to say, you exposed the whole back end. Now
Yeah.
it's going to get hacked.
Maybe that was too much yapping. Just cut out everything until this part. We'll let people worry.
I'll probably just mute you for the whole pod.
Just go ahead and cut out every time John speaks.
Yeah, I have a good story. I have a good story. It was I think it was 6 months ago probably, and the way that Dubs was doing the purges was just basically the people who were the least active. But then the way he was capturing data, he wasn't actually capturing people who did nothing at all. He was only capturing the people who did send one message. And then so there was 100 or 200 stale accounts just in the Telegram. And I remember one day Dubs was oh my God, I got him. And he just purged 150 accounts who literally hadn't sent a message for 6 months. And that was a good day.
The mental map that Dubs has of the Telegram blows my mind. I don't know if anyone has ever mastered any thing that they interact with as much. It's like if you ever played a video game 800 times as a kid over and over, to the point where you understand the physics of the game and could reverse engineer it. That's Dubs with the social interactions in the Telegram. He's you could probably name 500 people off the top of your head, which is, I've just never seen that type of mastery of a chat. And I would actually be interested to hear how many messages you have sent in, Dubs, if you have the data on yourself.
Yeah, the data right now is around 88,000 messages total out of 2 million messages total sent across the group. So I think I failed math class in elementary and high school, but I'm pretty sure that's 5% of the total or something like that. I feel like that makes sense.
Yeah.
But No, it's there's not many people who show up to the Wendy's in Gary, Indiana during the week, so I have a lot of time just to be on my phone. So it's that's what really helps, just being there, and what really makes it worthwhile is just all the amazing people that are in there. I mean, that's if they're that's what makes it so special. Just being around those such cool people.
I think it's interesting that we have all these different verticals in the community. I feel like a lot of communities, they're like, oh, like primarily on Discord, or, if it's Telegram, then the main focus for the community is on Telegram. But for Monad, there's like all these different outlets that you can contribute in various different ways. And you don't even, like, if you're a Telegram maxi, you don't have to be super deep in the Discord. So I think that is something that, one, I want to boost more awareness around so that people can just kind of stay in their lane and hammer what they do best. But two, to like enable as many outlets as possible is definitely huge. And I almost feel like that kind of parallels with the different on-chain verticals that we'll see on Monad when it's live, like, DeFi, NFTs, gaming, social, etc. So would love to hear from you guys if there's a particular vertical or application type that you're particularly excited for when Monad is live soon, TM.
I'm pretty excited about the opportunity to get liquidated at 10,000 TPS instead of a mere 10 to 1,000 TPS. I could really get liquidated much faster on that. Otherwise, I'd be excited to trade, but I just always get licked.
Okay.
So.
I'm excited for the gaming side because I think gaming on Monad combines my two favorite parts of Monad, right? Like the future frictionless UX that a lot of people have when interacting with the chain, and also the community aspect, right? So instead of like all of the games that we've just been playing for fun up until this point, like you'll actually be trading NFTs with your buddies, like trying to grind, level up. I remember when we were doing the Oh Baby game initiative in the Discord and everyone was playing, that became like the highlight of my week, was like that 1 hour where everyone would just grind Oh Baby. And I think poker on chain as well. I think the community initiatives coming on chain are the things that like I'm most excited about to actually do.
Yeah, there's like a financialization of fun where it's like all of the stuff that we're doing off chain, the co-creation, the identity maxing, all of that is like coming on chain, and you get to have the social fi side, the games, the NFTs that represent the lore that we have, evolution of lore, meme coins of that lore and evolution of that. That's all super exciting.
I'm excited about the clobs. Clob's going to be a pretty big buzzword in crypto next year. It's Alpha League. But yeah, central limit order books on Monad should be a pretty big differentiator, in the EVM.
Tunes, because this is not
a
a major narrative yet, potentially alpha drop, but can you give a little bit of context for any listeners that aren't super plugged in on the trading side of things and may not know what a clob is?
Yeah, CLOB is CLOB, Central Limit Order Book. It's basically just an order book completely on chain. So, like right now, crypto's majority, at least for on chain, majority of crypto trading is done through AMMs. Kind of has to be because, gas fees are so high that, market makers can't really provide liquidity on chain profitably. So you need to kind of decentralize them and just have people become liquidity providers. But if you can drop fees down low enough and have high enough TPS, market makers can actually provide liquidity on chain. It's like economically viable for them. And then suddenly, you can actually have much deeper liquidity and much better execution for traders. And so, it's kind of one of those things that like, with like high performance next gen chains or whatever, like there's a massive jump that happens when you actually get up to the bounds of like 10,000 TPS. And it's just kind of like these use cases that can only exist in this like high performance execution environment where, once users have that experience, they're, in my opinion, they're very unlikely to go back. So yeah, definitely the club is at the top of my list for the most exciting thing that'll be happening on Monad.
this got really right curve really fast.
Sorry, John. That's probably as far right
You
as
just
we'll
doxed
go.
yourself.
Thank you.
I feel like this would actually work very well as a Twitch stream with like the active comments coming in. With
if you're watching
question.
this on Twitter or
Maybe next
YouTube
time.
right now, drop a comment if you want to see it on Twitch, and maybe the Monad Marketing Cabal will be live someday soon for you all to participate in.
Wait, Pipes. You were asking me before. You asked, if I always want to be a cult leader. How did you know that you were going to be the Monad Media Magnate? Like, did anyone ever tell you that you had a voice for radio before?
Actually, my previous boss, I was working at a very small Web3 startup working on the gaming side of things primarily. And he was like, dude, you got to do PR. You got to do more Twitter spaces, more like media stuff. And so I kind of had that always in the back of my mind. But then joining the Monad community, I just like saw that as an opportunity that one, I had, some background skill and definitely interest to do, because it's a ton of fun to have conversations both on the left side of the curve like this, and also with some absolute gigabrain builders on the right side of the curve too. And as I was in the community for more and more time, it was just an area that I gravitated for. And, like reflecting on my own experience, it was like, how cool would it have been if I joined the Monad community and there was this one account that I could follow on Twitter, and I could spend 5 minutes max per day and always stay caught up on everything that was going on Monad, from the community to the tech to ecosystem and partnerships. And that's exactly what the pipeline spun into. So I'm definitely grateful for the support of the community and the team. So at this point, it's a dream, but it wasn't always a master plan all along.
I love the Monad Media Magnate.
Pushing it
from Mr. Monday.
We need like Monad children's books, and then we can have like a recording of Danny, like just with like bedtime stories.
Handsome Danny, Handsy Danny pipelines the Monad Media Magnate, just like full title.
Oh my! It's like a Dr. Seuss type book. I mean, I'm sure you could easily do a children's book with the Molendak.
Oh yeah,
that's like a perfect
make a children's book.
Create a children's book.
Bill's
like
gonna have like
60
6-panel
DMs
comic
tomorrow.
strip. Look, Bill, my contribution, my children's book. See my book. I can't wait. Please do.
Tag the whole team.
I was just gonna say I gotta head out because I got practice in a few minutes.
All right.
Yeah,
I'll catch you, sir.
I don't know if there's like final question. We do final alpha on the way out.
Yeah.
Internbrah's final alpha.
Jack, the final alpha. It is again shamelessly ripped from Up Only. It is one piece of wisdom, advice, maybe something you've picked up along your short journey of life so far, being the youngest member of the Monad team. But something that you would just like to leave the Monad community with on this long, drawn-out community chat. I will cut it short there. Usually I'll ramble a little bit longer, but I know you have to jump for practice. So, yeah, any closing thoughts for the crew?
Yeah, I have a couple quick ones. I think one for life advice is just be nice to people and help people with things without expecting a reward for it, or without like just doing it out of your self-interest. I think it goes a long way, and people will remember that in the future, and then you might actually get rewarded. But if you only do things in expectation of reward, you're probably pretty misguided. And two, take care of your health. That's just general. I feel like everyone can do better exercising, eating well. It's like your longevity is pretty important. And then for crypto, believe in something. Newsy Johnson, Gnad.
That was epic.
That was good.
Yeah.
And I just got a message from John saying that the drive-through line at Wendy's is pretty backed up, so we'll let him hit on final alpha next.
That was a pretty tough outro to follow, so I will do my best. But the Wendy's drive-through is like 30 cars long right now, and my manager I heard her start yelling at me from across I'm at a booth right now, and I heard her yell at me from across the room, and I need to go start flipping burgers. But in terms of lessons and life lessons and crypto stuff, I would say that, in life, there's a lot of roadblocks and challenges and things that come in your way, obstacles that'll knock you down and, push you down and, force you to really fight through and persevere in the face of adversity. And I think the one thing that everyone can do in life to overcome all these variety of obstacles and roadblocks is simply just come on down to Wendy's in Gary, Indiana, and get yourself a Baconator. I'll be sure they'll be happy to serve you some meat. And I will leave it on that. Come on down and talk to everybody later.
I knew where it was going to. I knew where it was going. I'm like, surely he's not going to do it.
I actually had no idea that was coming. I had no idea.
Unbelievable back-to-backs. I had no idea either. The build-up was perfect.
Now it's just the full-timers.
Oh man.
Well, I don't usually get to do final alpha, but I will for this one. At the risk of
let's do the round of alphas.
Front running the OG crypto interns potential alpha, study Polymarket Intern is my alpha. This is coming out 2 days after the Polymarket either psyop or crazy firing of their intern, and I think it just shows how important it is for any builder in this space, any product trying to launch in crypto or even outside of crypto. It's like you have to know your audience and you have to appeal to those users, and that's what we're trying to do here from a very genuine place as well. And I think it really can't go understated that when you put in the time to build within your community, and to give the community the entertainment and vibes that they're looking for, it goes a long way in terms of the adoption of your product and certainly having a big boost for marketing in general. So my alpha, study Polymarket Intern, study degeneracy.
Love it. I'll pick up next then on the alpha train. Mine would be, it changes each day, but I think one thing I'm thinking more about recently, the team that you get to work with is going to determine how much fun you have and how much success you see more than any other factor that exists in your life. And I think I've come to appreciate that the most over the last year, like getting to work with the 6 people on here. But like, I think you take one person out of the loop here and it all falls apart. So like, I feel like there's a very special thing being built up here. But yeah, I think like the saying, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. I think that's like super true. So when you find really good people that are smart and you like to work with and have good intentions, value that much higher than whatever your natural instinct is. There's going to be a lot that comes out of that. And so that would be mine. When you find good people and that's your crew, like hold on to that because it's special and super valuable and will give more to your life than probably anything else.
Yeah, I think mine kind of dovetails into that because it's definitely finding your people and learning your thing, sticking to your thing. Like, don't get scattered. There's so much noise and there's a lot more people joining every day and there's going to be a lot more popular culture attention on crypto. It's like, focus on your people, focus on your thing. Your rotation will come. Don't chase 2 rabbits or whatever the saying is because, you won't catch either of them. Don't always keep looking at the shiny object. Like, find your people, find your thing, dial in on it.
I guess that leaves me.
Yeah, what do you got, Tins?
I have no idea. Everyone's just so good. I'm like nervous. Could go a few different ways with this. I'll give a few bits and pieces. One is to always stay humble. I feel like the moment you lose that, you like lose sight of everything, and then you'll probably blow yourself up in one way or another. Another is I think people are too afraid of being cringe, and I feel like you should just be more cringe in general. Like a good example of this, and this would be my biggest alpha, is like I've sent out I think over 100,000 tweets by now, and like the best performing ones are always the ones that I'm like about to delete and then I don't. So like, I don't know. I just feel like if people put themselves out there more, they'd probably go a lot further. So yeah, don't be afraid to be cringe.
I can't agree more with that tweet sentiment. It's like the least sentimental part of your entire alpha is the one I'm going to pick out. But yeah, the tweets that you always are like unsure about end up being the bangers, and then
I feel
you'll
like
be
it's
certain
the
about some of
exact
them, and they
opposite
won't
for
take
me
off. So.
because, like, yeah, sometimes I'm like, oh, that might be cringe, but like, whatever, I'm posting it anyway. But sometimes I'm like, ooh, I'm kind of on the fence about this one, and then I'll send it to Tunes. I'll be like, oh, so what do you think about this tweet? And he's like, no, that's not it.
That's cringe.
No, it's good though, because they're not good tweets. So I genuinely appreciate that. I'm not chirping you, but I do think that, you know, maybe somewhat on the opposite end of the spectrum for that one. Man, this is awesome. We'll definitely have to do it again. Probably have to run it back on Twitch, get the community involved, and make it a little bit more of an AMA. And you know, through that we can shout out even more community members. But yeah, general shout out to the Monad community in general. Appreciate all of you that are contributing in your own unique ways. You are truly the lifeblood of what we're building here and how we're getting to market. So yeah, thanks for all the support. Thanks for everyone who tuned in today. And thanks to all the Chads up here on stage and those who have already left. Absolute pleasure and a unique opportunity to chat. So appreciate you all.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Pipes.
you, Danny Pipes.